So the OT may not care about lean. Does the OT care about quality? Absolutely. Does the OT care about getting the spec correct? Yes. Does the OT care about lead time? Absolutely.
100%. That's part of our job, is to analyse activity.
It's the exact same thing. You said you're analysing activity. What are we doing on the shop floor? We're analysing activity.
Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the Martina Tierney Podcast.
Thank you.
So this is something new for you, talking to your mother across the table like this, is it?
It is, aye. First time for everything.
Well, actually, we sit across the table a lot with a wee cup of tea in the kitchen, so we'll just sit today and we'll have a little chat. So, you may not like to hear this, but you're the second son to be on the podcast. So we had Jonathan earlier, and I did say that over the course of the podcast, I would introduce all my sons. So you're the second one to be on.
But your favourite one, did you say, before we started recording? That's what I heard.
That's what you always try to make me say, but no, you're the second to come on the podcast. You're the second born, and that's as far as I'm going to go. All right. So, Ryan, I just want to introduce you to the OT world and the world in general, because a lot of people know you through Lean. You are the driving force behind lean manufacturing here, and you started it all within Seating Matters. But the OTs in the world might not necessarily know you because you are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you got started with Seating Matters, why it's important to you, and then we'll go into Lean a little bit later.
Yep, thank you for having me on the podcast. I've enjoyed them all so far, so it's good to be here. So going back a few years, I suppose myself, Jonathan and Martin, there's three of us, your three sons, and we all kind of fitted into our three roles very, very early on. And I always had a passion for making stuff. I just loved making stuff, a passion for manufacturing. I would have worked with my father, your husband, obviously, when I was younger, and he was into building and construction, and I always loved going to work with him, getting my hands dirty, getting stuck in. I just love manufacturing and making stuff. And I suppose when we started the business, I was straight to the factory to design and make the first few chairs. That's where I felt comfortable. That's where my passion was. And I just loved the idea of bringing in raw material and making something out of it. And I still get excited about that. Even today, when I see the delivery lorry pulling up with sheet steel, and then you look at the other door and there's a finished chair going out the other side, it's just, I think there's something so fascinating about that.
Yeah.
So I always loved manufacturing. So I fitted into that manufacturing role very, very early on. But I suppose the first few years of business, we didn't really know what we were doing. We'd never ran a factory before. And it was very chaotic, very disorganized. And that's when I came across this thing called Lean, and we started to create some order and some structure.
So, yes, we didn't know what we were doing. We knew we wanted to make chairs. We knew what the patient needed. We knew clinically what was needed. But the whole manufacturing side was new to us, was definitely something that I thought we couldn't really master, really, at the very beginning. I knew the need was there. I knew what the patient needed. But then that's where you come in. And it was good because having three sons, I remember saying at the time, I wish I had three more sons, because she's fitted in so
useful
well.
enough, weren't we?
He's fitted in so well. Like Jonathan, as everyone has heard, is really a person who likes to talk and likes to meet people and likes to socialise. So he's really good at meeting people. Martin is very dot the I, cross the T, clinical research, money, that sort of thing. And then you, the manufacturing. So tell me a little bit more about the very start and the chaos that was here of us trying to get chairs out to patients.
I still remember it, and I don't know if I've told this story much on podcasts before or videos, but it was so stressful. I remember one delivery that we sent to England, and we sent all the chairs to the customer the wrong colour, the wrong specification, and that was just like a stop the line moment for us. I remember us all gathering around and saying, there has to be an easier way to run this place. It was stressful. We were working 6 days a week. You know this better than anybody. 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 or 8 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. We really put in long hours to get this thing off the ground, and it was hard work.
It was.
And
I remember that order because we presumed that they wanted pressure management in the back and in the arms, and we presumed, that they wanted the chair the way we thought that. And then when they got it, they said, "Oh, but we didn't want this, we didn't want that," and we just didn't take the order right. Like, we're going back like nearly 20 years now. But so I remember that very well because it was very stressful, all these chairs, and they were fit for purpose, but that wasn't the specification that the client wanted.
Yeah.
So what do we do then after that?
So I went home one night and I got my iPad out at my kitchen table and I just started to type in really generic terms into YouTube, like how to run a factory, how to run production, how to manage a business even, really, really high level generic terms. And I came across this thing called lean and I'd never heard of it before, didn't know what it was, but something just clicked in my brain. And I actually remember coming in the next day to you. I think you were one of the people that I said, I found this thing called lean. And, you know, when I get into something, that's all I can talk about, as you know.
I know.
So I just couldn't stop watching videos, reading books. I was just absolutely fascinated by this thing called lean. And I knew that's exactly what we needed to turn our business around and to allow us to make more product to help more patients.
So, for those people listening or watching today that haven't a clue what lean is, very simply, can you know, for a lot of people watching this, might be clinicians, it might be people that are nothing to do with manufacturing, just very basically tell us what is lean and why should they care? Why, as a clinician or a patient sitting in their chair, why should they even care what lean is? Yeah,
it's a good question. So lean manufacturing, if we go back about 80 something years, it started with Toyota, the car company. So Toyota realised that for them to improve efficiency and productivity, it was an all-in process. They needed to involve everybody in the organisation. And they figured out that lean or productivity or efficiency isn't the next big software, the next new machine, the next new factory. It's actually an accumulation of tiny, tiny improvements. And it's an accumulation of small improvements from every single person in the company. And that, to sum lean up in one sentence, that's all it is, the accumulation of small ideas from everyone. And that's what we have now at Seaton Matters. We have 60 plus people, 70 now, people making small improvements every day, making a place for their drill, making sure their desktop is organised on their computer, making sure the quotes and the price lists and everything that is there to serve the customer is at hand when it's needed, making the facility and making all the processes better every single day.
And how then does the patient and or the caregiver or the OT or the nurse, how do they benefit from that?
Yeah, so something that comes up a lot is, does the customer even care? Does the occupational therapist care about lean? And I'm going to be a bit controversial here and say no, that they don't. They don't care, and they shouldn't care. They shouldn't even hear the word lean. It shouldn't even be a word that the occupational therapist or the patient hears. Lean is this system in the background that operates, that makes, that drives everything. So the OT may not care about lean, but does the OT care about quality? Yeah. Absolutely. Does the OT care about getting the spec correct? Yes. Does the OT care about lead time? Absolutely.
100%.
Because we have the best lead time in the industry. Why do we have the best lead time? Because we focus on making the processes really good and really efficient so that we can deliver that chair on time. So does the OT care about lean? Probably not, but they care about the results of lean.
And they care about the patient and getting it right for them, getting it on time, getting it without a defect, getting the specification that they wanted, and also being able to tailor it to meet the needs of the patient as well. Is that something we do here well?
Absolutely. We actually build a very, very complex product. It's very complex. There's hundreds, thousands of components, thousands of parts. We're dealing with welding, we're dealing with sewing, electronics, pneumatics. There's a lot of different processes that go into making a chair. You would never think of it by looking at a chair. You think a chair is a chair until you take one of our chairs apart and understand how much complexity there actually is. But one of the massive benefits of lean or improving our processes is that we're able to bespoke the chair to the customer. And when companies, they actually come here like 2 or 3 times a week, companies come here to see how we've implemented lean. And they always ask us, why are you so successful at lean? And the answer is, we're successful at lean because we know why we're doing it. That's 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 the short answer. We know why we're doing lean.
And why are we doing it?
We're doing lean because there's a why. There's a very, very strong why at the end of it. We're actually helping patients. We're actually changing people's lives. And at our morning meeting, with a meeting every single morning where every single person in the company gathers around. There's 60, 70 people all in a big circle. We do stretches, we do gratefuls, we talk about all the stuff. But one of the things we talk about is the patient.
Yeah.
And we'll show a testimonial of this is a before and this is an after. And the transformation in people's lives is just incredible. And you can see that the welders, the sewing machinists, the upholsterers, they're all like nodding their head. They're all like blown away by the work that they're doing and the fact that the work they're doing is helping people.
Yeah. And that's something that I started off the company with. At the company is a clinical company based around the needs of the patient. And we've grown quite substantially over the years. Like, we're worldwide now. But even this very morning at a meeting, I brought it back to say we never want to lose that. You know, it doesn't matter how big we get or what other products we bring on. The patient, the OT, the care staff, the nurse, they must always be at the centre of everything we do.
Yeah.
And thanks to the, bringing in lean, Ryan, you have helped us to achieve that the customer, the patient, the person using the chair is really getting the benefit of the processes that you have implemented.
Yeah, and there's so many links between actually occupational therapy and lean. It's almost the same thing if you think about it.
Well, you're married to an OT, so you've lived with OTs all your life.
Yeah.
Me, and then you're married. When did you meet Olivia? When she was about 16?
No, 16, yeah.
And
yeah.
she is an OT as well. So tell me you say there's things very similar, OT and lean.
There's so many similarities. Like, if you think back to whenever I came across lean 10 years ago, I was like coming home at night talking to Olivia about all these lean concepts and these lean processes. And Olivia was like, that's OT. That's occupational therapy. That's what I do. So we're both doing the same thing, making small incremental changes to help the patient so they don't have to struggle. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
OTs are helping patients, and lean, we're helping our customer, which is the person on the factory floor, but ultimately the end patient. So we're all doing the same thing. We're making life easier. We're reducing struggle. We're creating flow. And, an OT does that the exact same as a process engineer in our factory does that. It's the exact same thing.
That's amazing, because I don't think many people have really thought about that, have really thought about occupational therapy and lean being similar. Like, as OTs, we analyse an activity. We look at an activity and we see, how does the patient do that? How can we make that easier for the patient? How can we train the patient to do it different, maybe because they've had an illness or an injury or whatever? So that's part of our job, is to analyse activity. So I can see what you mean. You're looking at the processes.
It's the exact same thing. You said you're analysing activity. What are we doing on the shop floor? We're analysing activity. We're saying, I can see struggle. He has to bend down to lift that box. Let's make it higher so he doesn't have to bend down anymore. Let's have the tools right where we need them. Let's have everything at arm's length. Let's reduce the motion between workstations. It's all the exact same thing.
That's very, very interesting,
Yeah.
really. So it is. And at the end of the day, you're creating as well, another thing about occupational therapy is meaningful activity. That's really what OT is about. It's meaningful, doing something that's meaningful. And here at Seating Matters, we are providing, like all these people here, with doing very meaningful work.
Yeah.
And the other thing that lean does, you talk a little bit about it, is we grow and develop people. So tell me a wee bit about how we do that here at Seating Matters.
Yeah, what you were saying about, what was it, meaningful activity?
Meaningful activity.
Meaningful activity. I love that, because it just reminds me of going back to Japan. And I've been to Japan 5 times to learn from Toyota, to learn from Lexus, to learn the Japanese culture. And the Japanese talk about work being noble. That's one of the things they talk about. And work should be noble. It's something that you should be respectful of. You should respect your employer, respect your job, respect your equipment, respect your tools, respect the people you work with. And this idea of respect is a common theme that I can see throughout lean. and throughout the work that we do as seating matters. So I think there's so many comparisons there.
Well, that's important too, because see, when you say work is noble, I see many occupational therapists and talk to many, and they're, because of challenges within healthcare and with COVID and what still has a legacy that we're all dealing with, a lot of people are frustrated with their job. And I think maybe taking that, sitting back and just saying, you know, my work is noble. And like, I'm going to be interviewing OTs throughout the course of this who are doing really noble work. So I think that is so important, that OTs and all healthcare people get that message that the work that they're doing is noble. That's a great phrase that the Japanese use.
Yeah. You see, this whole thing about, it's called TPS, or the Toyota Production System, or now commonly more known as Lean. But Lean is all built on respect for people and resources.
Respect.
Yeah, that's really all it is. If you boil it all down, we're respecting people by not expecting them to walk 20 yards to go and get their tools. We're respecting the customer by delivering the chair when we said we'd deliver it. We're respecting the raw materials that we're using by not wasting it and throwing it in the bin.
That's important.
So if we simplified, you asked earlier, what's a simple version of Lean? Lean is respect for people and resources. And that's applicable to an OT doing their job. It's applicable to a manufacturing space. It's applicable to everything. And that's why Lean works, because the common denominator is respect.
Very good. And respect for resources is so important in this day and age, you know, because we have everything in-house here. We don't manufacture in China. We don't bring in, we manufacture everything here. We bring in all the raw materials. So we have to be very respectful of the raw materials and try to be as efficient as we can to keep the cost down and, you know, to deliver a product that is good but also cost effective for the patient. So respect and resources is an important element of that.
It is, yeah.
Let's go back to you when you were a child. What sort, and I know this because I'm your mommy, but can you just, for the benefit of those people watching or listening,
This took a turn.
what sort of a child were you? Like when you were young, were you ambitious? What type of, did you ever think that this is what you'd be doing or what? Just for people to get to know you a wee bit better.
Yeah. I would. There was four of us in our house, obviously. Jonathan, myself, Martin and Louise. And I suppose I was the quiet one. And maybe still am to some degree.
Except
but
when put you in front of a mic to talk about Lean. You're not quiet then.
I can talk about Lean all day long, but put me in a bar at a party, no. I don't want to be there.
No.
But I suppose I was always the quiet one, more of a thinker than a talker. And if anybody would have said, you know, you're going to have a podcast, you're going to be an author of a book, you're going to have a YouTube channel, I would have said, like, absolutely no way. Like, I'm the last person that you would have thought would have done that. But it comes down to passion and purpose. When the passion's big enough, you have to get over yourself. And that's, you've done that, I've done that. And when the purpose, when what you want to do is bigger than the barrier, then you make yourself get over it. And I suppose that's what I've done. But growing up, I always loved making stuff. I loved manufacturing. I loved getting my hands dirty. I think one of the reasons you asked, did I ever see myself being here? And I actually did. Because one of the things that you taught us to do earlier on was visualize.
Yeah.
And it's something that not a lot of people know about or do, but I'm a big believer in visualizing. Like, I'll just go away for, like, we have a hot tub at home in the backyard, and I'll just sit in the hot tub for like 2 hours. And this might sound crazy to some people watching this, but I'll just sit there and I'll think, and I can dream up some of the most fascinating things, and then sometimes they come true. But it is incredible, this idea of visualizing. So did I visualize a factory like this? I did, absolutely did. Did I visualize myself going to Japan and visiting Toyota and Lexus? I did. Did I visualize myself working with Toyota? Because I've now got a partnership where I work with Toyota. We do content creation. I absolutely did, because I visualized it, and that's something that you taught us when we were small.
I used to write things up because we didn't really have computers back 30 years ago, and I'd write out things, and if you can see it, you can be it. readers are leaders.
Yeah,
We're always
remember that
encouraging
one, yeah.
people to read. That's a big thing. So readers are leaders. If you can see it, you can be it. And what I used to say to you every morning going out to school, you're a...
Wonder,
And you
can
can do.
anything. Yeah. and now I say that to my 3 children because we have 3 Waynes, James, Maria and Oliver. And I say, right, Oliver, what's your name? I'm Oliver Tierney. What can you do? I can do anything.
And I think that's very important. You know, for people, again, going back to people getting disillusioned on their work, we need to start visualising and creating, what do you really want to do? Because we all have the ability, like I, like yourself, was a very quiet. If you talk to anybody in my year at university, none of them would really remember me because I was a quiet one. I wasn't one that was showing that I was going to do anything great. And yet there was some drive within me that, said, if I saw a problem, which I did, saw a problem with chairs, I just thought, well, we have to do something about that.
Yeah.
You saw a problem with manufacturing and you says, we need to do something about that. So I think people have more in them than they believe, and I think that's really important that people sit down and think like, what can I do? Or, I can do anything. Really, you can.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's why it's so important to spend time with your children, your Waynes, as we would say here, for our American audiences, or kids.
These are our kids or children.
But like you and our father spent loads of time with us. You did. We went to seminars and we were like 10, 11, 12. Like motivational seminars. We were reading books, Think and Grow Rich. We were reading... Yeah. The Secret. We were reading all these positive books and we were in our teenagers or even earlier.
Yeah.
And that foundation has really stood to us. So one thing that I try to do, we always think we can be better as parents, but one of the things I try to do is to inspire my Waynes and make them believe that they can do anything. Because that's what we believed.
Yeah. Very good. Now, there's 2 things. I'm going to go to the beginning and go to the end. So at the beginning, you started off actually working with your father, James, in the building site in Belden. So that's
driving a digger, yeah.
And so you left school at what, 16?
Left school at 16, yeah.
I remember when you done your GCSEs, you said to me, I'm going to do these and I'm going to get A's and then I'm leaving school. And I said, that's okay. And you done them and you got high marks the whole way, you got A's for nearly them all, and then you left school and you went to work. But you just wanted to say, you very clearly said to me, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get A's, but then I'm not going any further. Yeah. So we just said, that's okay, if that's what you want to do. So you went to work for James?
Yeah, I think I wanted to prove myself that I could go to university if I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I think that was it, because... We were never encouraged to go to university. We could have if we wanted to, but it wasn't.
You weren't forced.
Weren't forced to.
You would have been encouraged, but not forced.
Not forced.
You were given the choice, and the 3 boys and Louise, like you all had the ability, to go, but you just decided that's not what you want to do. And I thought, well, that's your life.
That's right. So I left school at 16. Went to the Tech actually in Limavady for 3 months to do a construction course. And I actually left it after 3 months because I just wanted to
do it.
I don't have, and people who know me know this, that I have no patience, and everything has to be urgent. And I hadn't the time to sit in a classroom and learn all this stuff and spend 2 years of my life and then go and work. I just wanted to work. So left after 3 months and went to work with my father, James, and I went to drive a digger. And it's something that I still love. I'm building a house at the minute for myself, and I just love going up on Saturdays and getting on the digger. It's like therapy. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So worked with him for probably a year and a half. I'm trying to think back now to when we started Seating Matters, but
2008.
2008, so probably like a year and a half or 2 years, and then we started obviously Seating Matters then with like a very small workshop behind our family home with 2 or 3 people. And that's where it all began,
Yeah. And that time that you said your father spent a lot of time with you, it wasn't at football matches, it wasn't taking you swimming, it wasn't any of those things. It was on the digger, in the tractor,
Yeah.
in the back of the van. It was at the work, and that's how he spent time with you. And it was good quality time,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the standard type of time that fathers spend with the kids. Not that I think they should spend time going to football and all. He just wasn't that type of father. But so that's where you learnt about your, I think your work ethic was from there, just watching him and spending time with him.
Definitely, because one of the things he done was put down, as you know, obviously, is put down concrete. And the thing about concrete is you lay it, and then you have to rub it up, and then as it dries, you have to keep like rubbing it up. It's called power floating. So we were up to like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. power floating concrete when we were like kids. And that really stood to us, because like that was 6 in the morning to 2 or 3 the next morning, like almost a 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
And we done that over and over and over.
Yeah.
And myself, Martin and Jonathan, we all done it, all 3 of us.
Yeah. And me. I had to rub up concrete one time too. I remember stopping off with him just to see what time is he coming home. Oh, an hour. So it was always going to be an hour. And I was dressed. I was coming from a meeting or something. And he says, "Go and take that wee. What did you call the wee small thing? Wee power float. What do you call the wee small one?" He says, "And rub up that wee corner." And I got concrete all on my good top. So anyway, that's how we started. So what's your vision for the future? Just to finish off, where do you see Seating Matters? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see us going in the future?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it's important. On another kind of side note is, yes, there's Seating Matters, and we manufacture specialist seating, and we're in the healthcare industry. But within the business, I was able to carve out this little niche, or it started off as a little niche, this thing called Lean, initially to run our factory better, to improve our processes, to help serve our patient better. That's where it started. But Lean has turned into this big thing now, and we do tours. I've written a book on Lean. I've got a podcast. I've got a YouTube channel. And this Lean, by accident almost, this Lean thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day and by the week, as more and more companies catch on to it. So Lean is typically seen as this really complicated, like if somebody's watching this podcast, just Google Lean manufacturing to see what comes up. It's the most boring thing you've ever heard. It really is.
You've turned it into something exciting, something fun, something simple.
I've took it and just simplified it and made it engaging and made it fun. And because of that, thousands of companies are now doing Lean. Like I get messages on a daily basis. "We love your videos. We love your content. We've transformed our company." And like all over the world, and recently India, for some reason, there's a massive following in India. I don't know why that is, but Lean Made Simple is massive in India. So what does the future look like? I'm not sure entirely, but I know that it's going to go more into the Lean space. It's kind of pulling me there.
Yeah.
As more and more people get on to Lean, I'm being pulled in that direction. And it's something I love talking about and doing.
But the good thing from a Seating Matters or a healthcare, like when we acquire other healthcare companies, like say, for example, we go into share chairs, we can apply. You have trained our people so well that all the principles and all the culture that we have already developed just permeates through the whole business. Yeah. So patients are always going to benefit from what you started 10 years ago. Patients and family members are always going to benefit from that.
That's right. Yeah, it's like a growing thing. It's a phenomenon almost. Yeah. It's a wave. The Lean wave is coming. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Ryan. It's been a pleasure sitting down, having a cup of tea with you again. As I say, we do this across the kitchen table, but it was a pleasure to chat to you. And thank you so much. I'm very proud of all you've achieved in Seating Matters, and for the future as well, and for your contribution. Even though a lot of people won't have seen you face to face, you'd very rarely be in front of the patient, but you're behind the scenes making things a lot better for the patient. And thank you for your contribution to Seating Matters.
Yep, thank you very much.